Screen time? No screen time? I know it's a hot topic, but what I have to say might be a little different, but it works really well for our family. Come hang out with us. We'll sit down and chat all about technology and its role in our homeschool. From Heavenly Minded Home, and welcome to our YouTube channel. So super duper exciting. Today's video is part of a collaboration of other homeschool show and tell videos. Thank you to Abby from Rooted in Rest and Jessica from the Waldock Way for hosting this each and every month. I will link the playlist down below, so if you would like to go and see what other people are doing with this topic of technology in their homeschool, you can go and see some great videos from some wonderful families over there. I think this is a great topic and one that's really neat to kind of see what other people are doing. I know for us and everything that we do, we have Heavenly Minded Homeschool. We have our channel here where we put stuff out. We host a co-op and do different things. And so for our family who's in ministry full time, technology is fantastic, right? It allows us to connect with families, all across the country, all over the world. It really is so amazing. We share vlogs every single day and just different encouragement and teachings. And like I said, our co-op is hosted online for all of the kids, and we do church and, all kinds of great things. So there really are some great ways that we can use these tools, but also for us, we try to keep things very simple, very minimal. We want Christ to be the focus in everything that we do, living our life as Scripture calls us to, walking as ambassadors of Christ. And something that's really, really important is being able to keep that healthy balance between obsession and idolatry and, using something as a great tool and resource. And I know for us in our household, I like to really think about the heart of the matter, right? What is the root cause here? Is my child truly picking up unhealthy habits? Do I have unhealthy habits when it comes to my relationship with technology? Be it I'm on my phone all the time, we watch too much TV, I'm always in front of a computer, what it is. And I know for me, I can tend to be quite the workaholic. And so I have to really, look at my heart and go, what am I doing? Is this really the best use of my time right now? So I think that there is that root of the issue that we have to always look at first and foremost. We have to look at this and say, it's not just that technology is evil and bad. There are some bad things. There are some harmful habits that can come from too much use of technology, but that doesn't make it bad. The tool, the resource is a great resource and can be used for many, many great things, but we have to look at the root of this first and foremost and see, are things in balance? What are we using it for? How often are we using it? Why are we using it? Is this some sort of escape? Is it, aiding into our laziness? Is it causing us to watch things that are sinful? My husband posted this quote and it's so true. And it says, unfortunately, the mass majority of what is entertainment today is really just us watching other people sin. And that's something that we try to really, check in our home and say, hey, we profess to be followers of Christ. And that means that in everything that we do, I need to be able to hold this up and say, if Jesus himself was sitting with me right now, would I still be watching this? Would I still be sitting on this website and playing this game or listening to this music, reading this book, right? Would I still be doing this? If I literally had the Lord God sitting next to me going, why do you think that was funny? Why are you watching this? Why do you find this entertaining? And so for us, that's kind of the really big, heavy stuff that, again, we talk a lot about. So if you want to come over and hang out with us, they are topics that we dig into quite often. But I always want to check that heart, deep rooted, area of it first and say, why are we doing this? What are we doing? How much are we doing? Where are we at on this? And something I want to encourage you with as well is, if you don't feel like you're getting this perfect, little secret, none of us are, okay? This is a difficult topic, and I think it's difficult to work through with our children because for many of us, it's difficult to do ourselves. We struggle with how much we're on the phone or scrolling mindlessly or, whatever it is that we're doing. And so I think it's hard sometimes because maybe we figure it out for a while and then before we know it, things are out of whack again, and then we go too far the other way. And, it can be a really difficult thing. And I think because there is a fine line here between a useful tool that is a great resource in our lives and overindulgence, wasting away all of our time on stuff that we probably shouldn't be. So I understand that it is a hard line, and I think it's one that's going to be an ever-changing kind of goal that we're working towards, especially in different seasons of life with our children as they're growing and they're changing and all of that. So give yourself some grace as you work through this and are trying to master some sort of balance with technology use in your home. So anyways, that's my deep, heartfelt 5 minutes of stuff there. I'll go ahead now and share with you guys exactly what we use, how we use it, how often we use it, all of that stuff. Our kids range in ages from 5 all the way up to 18. So I'm going to kind of lay it out for all of our kiddos so you see how at least our family in this current season of life is using technology. So our family has been homeschooling since our oldest was in the middle of first grade, and he is, like I said, now 18 years old, a senior in high school. So we've been doing this for a hot minute. 4 kiddos, our girls, the first one's a son, the 3 others are all girls. They've been homeschooled their whole lives. And I do stuff through Heavenly Minded Homeschool, where I write Bible curriculum. We offer the Heavenly Minded Homeschool co-op. We have online classes and things like that. So obviously an area that we're really, really passionate about. And again, I think a way that technology can be a really, really, really useful tool. So for us, what we try to stick with, and this is what's been working for us here recently, I think that there is a great positive in using technology with our kids. I think, we'd be lying to ourselves to not understand that it's the way of the world and what everything works through. So I want my kids to be, this is a subject that they need to learn about and be proficient in, just like reading and writing and everything else. There's nothing that they're going to go out in the world and do, be it running their own homes to, serving in some way or having a job. There's nothing that they're going to do that's not going to involve technology in some way, shape, or form. And so I want my kids to understand and to be able to build that self-discipline and awareness of how involved they are with things, because again, most adults are lacking that. I don't want my kids to be in that position. And so we try to keep things as balanced as possible, trying to make sure that we have times that everything gets put away and then times when things are being used to help them kind of, get that balance of not always consumed by something. So for us in our house, our TV is rarely on. It is not something that we watch very much. We do not have cable. We don't have streaming services. We do have Amazon Prime, that we do have that we can access, but we don't really watch many things. We do have PBS. What else do we have? Oh, my brother has a Disney Plus subscription. I will not support Disney Plus with my money, but we are really big Star Wars people, so we will access his so we can watch Star Wars. So we will do that. But what we do is sometimes in the morning, if the kids want to cozy up and watch something, especially wintertime, I feel like we do this more often, they will get on and usually watch, PBS. We've been on a big Daniel Tiger kick. So we will do that some mornings. But if they don't do that, they get up, they do their chores, do all their morning stuff. My husband and I are out walking, and you guys will post it up here. But if you want to watch one of our whole day in the life, how exactly we do this whole homeschool thing, you can watch yesterday's if you want to watch that to see exactly how we do all this stuff. But they'll sometimes sit down and watch something. If they're not watching something after they've done their chores, each of our kids have a Chromebook laptop. I will link the ones we got down below. The 2 younger girls, they have these ridiculously cheap refurbished ones. They're not the fanciest, but they work great for what we do with our co-op. They were $70. And then our oldest daughter, she has been doing a lot of writing. We'll talk more about that in a minute. So hers broke. She needed a new one. We spent a little bit more on hers. I think we spent $100, $120. And she did get a new Chromebook laptop. So they each have those. I have their profiles set set up with the family parental controls thing program through Google. And so I give them each an hour and a half each day that they can get on there to work. That's when they're doing their work for co-op. My kids are really big into writing. Or what I do is they don't have access to just the internet. Everything, it has to be approved by me. So I love using that. Just it keeps them from even accidentally stumbling onto something that, you know, they shouldn't be stumbling onto. And so it also makes sure that I can kind of keep track on, you know, what they're on, what they're spending time on. So we're not just, you know, wasting away on ridiculous stuff. So I give them, you know, permission for that. Our youngest can go to PBS and play games on there and watch videos on there. And then they do a lot of writing. So they each have their laptops that they can do for that. Our son does have a desktop computer in his room. He is the only one with something in his room, which I normally in like every case would be completely against. He is amazing and the most responsible, like morally inclined child you've ever met in your life. And for us, it really just worked in that way. He needed dedicated writing time and we have a smaller house. And so having somewhere that he can go and write without distraction kind of was just a big deal that we really didn't have anywhere else for him to go. So he does have his in there. We do for our younger girls. The rule is laptops have to stay on the table at all times unless they're in their little office space for class. That way we're not having any issues of one, things getting broken, or two, people, you know, getting into things that they probably shouldn't be. So it's just a great way to kind of keep everything out in the open and, you know, make sure that we're not setting up any situation for something we would not be happy with to happen. So little things like that help, but they do that, get that time every day where they can get on and do some writing and do their different stuff for co-op or just play some games or watch some PBS videos. So they have an hour and a half of that each day. We do have an Xbox system, and our rule for that has always been, you know, no game. I don't care if it's entertainment. If it goes against God's word, if it goes against, you know, how we are called to be as followers of Christ, then we don't need it in our house. And so they have some great games on there. They love playing. They're really big into Lego World. We do that a lot. They like Minecraft. So they've got their different things that they like to get on there and play. What we usually do is, you know, during the day, we're doing our schoolwork, we're getting our stuff done that we need to. Maybe we're going out and doing some things. They are allowed to, after school, and after all of that, if it is something that they're doing by themselves, then everybody gets 30-minute turns that they can get on if they're playing a game by themselves. But for the most part, they like to play together. So then they all kind of combine their time and everybody gets on and plays. They even have some time with my husband where he'll come up after he's finished all of his work and he'll get on and play games with them. So they have a great time kind of getting on. It's our like, if everybody's doing something together, then I'm totally down with it. Like get on, spend some time, especially in the winter time. It's too cold a lot of days to be outside really playing, or we've had a lot of rain. During the summer, sometimes it's just way too hot and nobody wants to be out there. And so I feel like during those times especially, I see them more often than not wanting to all get together and play video games together. And I love seeing the games they come up with, their imaginations, and seeing them work together and problem solve together and do all of that, I think is really, really cool to see that in a way that, you know, video games aren't just all bad. There's great things that come from that. I see math being done. I see spelling happening. I see teamwork building. I see a lot of good that can come from video games when we are dutiful to protect their minds with there's so much garbage in a lot of these games. So being very strict on what games are okay in our household, and then making it that, hey, if we're gonna play, let's play together. Let's do something that we can do together. So we really do limit if it's individual time, but they do get some more. If everybody's gonna sit down and play games together, especially when my husband gets in on it, and then they're all in there playing, and they really do have a great time. So we do that. When it comes for school, like I said, they do they have their Chromebooks that they do different school stuff on. Right now it's mainly writing, because in one of our co-op classes, we have this writing class that I think all the kids did not want to do at first. And now we've got some of the most amazing storytellers ever. These kids are phenomenal and their writing is so great. We're actually even going to be publishing a collection of short stories from our co-op kids. So super excited to get all of that put together because they're just amazing storytellers. But Our kids have gotten really big into writing. Our son, actually, he just published his first book on Amazon Kindle, and it is the introduction to this entire series he's been writing. It is so good. I don't even like fiction, and it is a really good story. So super excited to get his stuff put on there. He's getting the first book finished up so that can get published. So he spends a lot of time with his writing. We make sure to keep him, accountable and say, hey, you don't want to be obsessed. You don't want to be spending too much time, but, be responsible and spend the time you need to. Our daughter, Lily, she is a big writer. She's writing some amazing stories, so she gets her time that she can sit down each day and work on her writing. And then we use the Facebook portals. We have like the old generation ones, but we love our Facebook portals. They can, use Facebook Messenger to call family members and video chat and stuff. They love calling their grandmother and talking to her and doing stuff. And then it's great for Zoom. So we have Zoom on there too, and that's what we use for our co-op. So we have a couple of those set up one in our laundry room and one in our daughter's closet. We turn both of those spaces into like a little office space so they can go get in there on their portals, and that's how they log into their Zoom calls with our co-op, where they get on and do different activities with, their teacher and their peers. And it's a really great thing to be able to have that like dedicated thing, that dedicated like tablet type picture frame looking thing that they can get on, do their classes, have everything there together. It's got amazing sound, a wonderful camera, very super simple to keep everything all set up. And so they use that for school throughout our co-op months, and then their Chromebook if there's, any of their writing and stuff that they're doing on there. So it works out really, really well. Now, the only other time really that any form of technology is used by our kids is we love having something in the evening that we can sit down together and kind of cuddle up at the end of our night and watch a little bit of something. So we usually we're either in like really old TV, Little House on the Prairie, Dick Van Dyke Show, Green Acres, Leave It to Beaver. What else have we done? Family Affair. I'm trying to think of different ones that we really like. So we're usually either over there or we're on Star Wars. Our family loves Star Wars, and so we watched through all of our old shows yet again, and now we're watching through Star Wars in chronological order from the very beginning. So we've made it up to the Obi-Wan series right now. We're finishing up Obi-Wan before we move on to, I think, Rebels is next. But we love Star Wars, and so in the evening, we will sit down after we've kind of wrapped up our day, done everything, everybody's gotten showers and brushed their teeth, jammies are on, we're ready for bed, and we will all curl up and watch TV for about an hour or so in the evening before we do our, family reading and prayers and get everybody to bed. So sometimes a little bit of TV in the morning if it's kind of cold and cozy and everybody wants to watch a little PBS show or something. We use our Chromebooks for about an hour and a half each day to do writing or just playing. They use the portals to do their co-op calls with our HMH co-op. They get some video game time in the afternoon, especially if they're playing all together. And then we all snuggle around in the evening to watch one of our very few. We kind of have a small circle of shows that we like to watch, but one of our shows that we all sit down together and watch as a family. That's pretty much it as far as things that we're like watching and actively doing. The only other kind of technology things that we use are our girls do have Kindles. They love reading, especially Lily. She loves reading, and now Virginia's really gotten into it. So they do have just basic Kindles. They're not the like tablets that do the internet. They're like reading Kindles. And so Lily loves reading. She reads like crazy on there. We bought my son's books. We have his book on there. And then Virginia has really gotten into the Garfield comic books. So she gets the Garfield comic books so she can sit there and read those. So they do love using the Kindle for that. And the only other thing, I will link a video up here that gives you all the details about it, is I use the Google little mini Nest speakers. That is my helpful home assistant that keeps us on track with class times and, speech therapy appointments and Bible reading times and all the other things that we do. I have everything scheduled up in there. It turns our lights on and off. It does everything for us. And so, that is more of like my key here that I use. I have everything with Google Home on my phone, and then I schedule up all the things that we need to do to help keep me on track, keep the kids on track, kind of keep us all running as we need to. And so we have those speakers throughout the house to give us alerts and reminders and encouragement to keep us going and getting everything done throughout the day. So those would be those kind of little like extra things that we have in there that are very, very, very helpful. I will go ahead and note that we are not give your kids cell phone people at all. I think that there's really nothing good that comes from that, especially when they're just unsupervised and have whatever. Satan is strong and this world is evil. And I mean, none of us need all that junk right before our eyes anyways. And so we don't do that. Our son, who is now 18, he for the past couple years has had like an old cell phone of ours that was only connected to Wi-Fi. So that way, you know, if he was home or doing something, we could still like video call him or something and connect with him that way. He will use his to get on YouTube, and he loves watching historical videos. He has certain channels that he watches that he learns a lot from, and so he will use his for that. We did finally, now that he's 18, we did go ahead and actually connect his phone to like an actual phone number and stuff now. So he's getting older. He has different things he wants to go get working on. And so he does now have, you know, an actual phone with an actual phone number and stuff like that. He never uses it. Like, I had to make sure he charged it the other day because I made him go get his haircut all by himself. And so he had to have his phone for that. But he does have one now, technically. Doesn't really use it. So he does have, you know, something that he can access, but as far as the girls or anything like that, there's no reason for them to have a cell phone or anything like that. They do not need to have something that they can put in their pocket and be on all the time. I think that would just cause more issues than I would ever want to deal with. So I don't see them getting something like that for a very, very, very long time. They say they want one, and I hear things and grumblings about it, and I go, guess what? Cool story. You're not getting a phone. Too bad, so sad. Talk to me when you're 18. So when it comes to phones, that's not something you're going to find in our household either. So anyways, hopefully all of this talking was something helpful, at least. I'd love to hear from you guys and hear what your greatest struggles or maybe great tips and tricks for dealing with technology in your homeschool is. So be sure to leave me a comment down below. We have vlogs coming out every single day. So when you tap the subscription button, make sure you turn on the little bell notifications. And again, if you want to see exactly how our homeschool day works, here's a video right here that you guys can go watch and see from start to finish how we do it in our home. So thanks for hanging out with me. I'll see you guys next time. Bye, friends.